So I posted a video the other day, kind of talking about dealing with trauma and things like that because that's really where I'm at right now. As all through 2020 because just isolation. It was a really good time to deal with personal issues and do some introspection, and that has continued for me throughout 2021. But I was realizing that I was addressing a lot of like my behaviors, but like I still I wanted to know where their behaviors were coming from. Like why do I do that? Okay, I've addressed doing that, and I said that I need to stop doing that, and I've stopped for the most part. But why? Like where'd that come from? And that's where you get into like trauma, or some people could call it toxic traits. The Bible refers to it maybe like the way of the thorn. Just things that are there deep down that cause certain types of behaviors or mindsets. And I knew where the origin point, like on my timeline of my life, of where my trauma came from, but I didn't really like have an accurate wording or qualification for what it was. And then I watched this video, which was the video I posted, and it gave me the word, and the word was unworthiness. I didn't realize that moment of all the other things that it brought up and made me feel. The biggest thing, and the one thing that I had carried, and that was affecting a lot of my behaviors, sorry, I got in my mouth, that was affecting a lot of my behaviors, was a feeling of unworthiness, feeling like I didn't deserve to be protected. Like I wasn't worth, like I lost my worth in that moment. Like I lost all my worth in that moment in my head, because that's what my trauma said. And unworthiness can manifest in so many different ways, right? Unworthiness may manifest as being an overachiever. That feeling of unworthiness may manifest as that. Like you're very competitive. You always have to be the best at everything, and you want to be good at everything. Unworthiness can manifest as being a loner. Not wanting anyone to get close to you, not letting anyone in because you don't feel like you're worthy of their love anyway, so you're not going to get it, so you just won't let them in at all. Unworthiness can manifest as focusing on your bad behavior and trying to find worth in your bad behavior. Being very sexual and promiscuous and lascivious, because you know that you turn men on, you turn women on, you are really good in bed, and so you try to find your worth in that. Or I can swindle people out of this, so I'm really good at that, and trying to find your worth in that. Or I can drink anybody under the table, trying to find your worth in that. I can bounce back from any drug, from any high, trying to find your worth in that. There's so many ways it manifests, right? There's so many ways it manifests. Being overly giving and loving because you're trying to feel worth, so you give of yourself and sacrifice of yourself to extremes that are unhealthy. Not having those boundaries because you're trying to get worth, you're trying to feel worthy, right? And it's not that one person will only have one of these things. These manifestations of unworthiness like may come in different seasons of your life, so you may show all of them, just each one at a different season. You may go in and out of one single one or two, but it still all has the same root. It still all has the same root of unworthiness. And the only way you can get out of that is to speak the truth of who you are to yourself more loudly and persistently than you speak the depiction of yourself that your trauma gave you, which was the unworthiness, right? That comes from God. Who you really are, what you really are every wonderful, beautiful, good thing about you. You are not that moment of trauma. You are not that unworthiness. And that's, until you know that that's there, that feels impossible to do. For me, until I had that word, it's like, yeah, I can fix my behaviors, but like, other bad behaviors are going to spring up right behind them, because I did not have that word to know that is what I took from that moment. And I said that about myself. I'm not worthy. And another thing that helped me really, I had someone that has been a part of my life for a while, but just has taken a bigger role in my life in the past couple of years. The way that they speak to me, and the way they interact with me, and the way that they love me has really been a mirror that has helped me see where my wounds are, and has really shone a light on a lot of those behaviors. And it's a large part of why God bringing that person into my life is a large part of why I have addressed a lot of those behaviors and been working on correcting them. And then I told this person about my trauma, and they had a response I didn't expect. They said, "You should have told." And in that moment, before I knew that the thing I had taken from that moment was unworthiness, that hurt me. And I was very angry that they said that. Because to me it was, you don't hear me, you don't hear him saying. But now looking back at that and having the word unworthiness and understanding that word, that is what I took from that trauma, what that person said is actually uplifting. It's, you were worth telling. Like, you were worth being believed. You should have told, because you were always worth it. You were worth the protection. You were worth telling. You would be believed. And to them, they couldn't fathom how I would not see that of me and like not have told. But to me, the second that happened, I was not worth anything anymore. When you accept what your trauma says about you, it shifts everything in your life. And it can, if you don't deal with it, if you don't address it, if you don't acknowledge it, steal blessings from you. And that's something else that I got from that video and that I posted. When you are not healed, blessings feel like hauntings. It don't feel like a good thing. It doesn't feel like a good thing. I couldn't hear that you were worth telling, you were worth protecting. I heard that you messed up. You didn't do what you should have did. Because you hear it through your hurt. You hear it. I heard it through unworthiness. And there's been so many things in my life I've processed through unworthiness. So if that's you, if you had a moment that made you feel like all your worth was stripped from you in that moment, I am saying to you, that is not true. It is not true at all. Your trauma is a liar. You are so worthy. You are so worth protecting. You are so worth loving. You are so worth being seen and heard. Okay? You are so worth it. Your trauma is a liar. It's a big fat liar. Okay? You are loved abundantly. You are loved so much. And you can be on the other side of this. Fight for your healing. Be love, be light.